Hey there, saltwater anglers, and welcome to the Lower Chesapeake Bay Fishing Report. It's your local report, whether it's good, bad, or ugly. This podcast is part of the Great Days Outdoors Network, and each week we're talking with local experts to learn ways we can become better anglers in our pursuits offshore, nearshore, and inshore. And to help keep this amazing fishery healthy and thriving for generations to come, let's remember to protect what we pursue. It's springtime, waters are warming up, and fish are on the move. So let's hear who's making this show possible and then find out what's been biting. Check it out. AFTCO has a gift for our listeners. They're now offering a camo sunglasses cleaner cloth with any purchase of AFTCO products. Whether I'm walking the dock or the deck, I love my AFTCO fishing boots. You cannot beat the comfort. And as temps warm up, the Samurai Sun Shirt will keep you cool and protected. To get your coupon code, just text LCBFR to 779-345-2918. You'll get subscribed to our email list, and we'll send you the promo code via email.
Warning, this product contains nicotine. Nicotine is an addictive chemical. Black Buffalo products are intended for adults age 21 and older who are consumers of nicotine or tobacco.
If you're 21 or older and use nicotine or tobacco, it's time you charge ahead to Black Buffalo, America's only credible smokeless tobacco alternative. Black Buffalo dips just like the real thing, but without the tobacco leaf or stem. Get it now at Wawa, Circle K, Sheetz, Love's, Pilot, Racetrack, and many more that you can see on their store locator at blackbuffalo.com. Black Buffalo Tobacco Alternative is everything you love about dip, nothing you don't.
All right, you guys, welcome to this week's show. It's been a weird week with weather. You know, we're up and down in temperatures. This weekend's going to blow and be cold again. We've seen some pollen, lots of change in the air. But somebody has been changing some things up with their boat. I want to talk to them about it. Welcome back to the show, Captain Bill Pappas, Playing Hooky Chargers. How are we doing, Cap?
Welcome aboard, Playing Hooky Chargers, guys. How's it going?
It's going good, man. We haven't caught up in a few weeks. How you been, man? What's new?
Man, I've been good, man. I kind of had my body and my boat on the shelf. I got getting the boat with the new motors put on it, and then the boat got the new motors put on it, and they're ready for me to come pick it up. And my body was like, we're not ready yet. And I had to sit on the bench. I had to sit on the bench with my boat ready for a week, and a week is as far as I could possibly make it. For my surgery, they gave me 6 weeks of basically light duty. Don't pick up anything over 25 pounds. And for the first 3 weeks, you weren't going to be able to move or do much. But I couldn't take it. I couldn't sit still. And Russ and I had a lot of work done. We went and got the boat, pulled it over to my buddy Andy. If you have the whole bottom of the boat painted and you get new motors, you got to get those bottom brackets painted too. And the hempel we use takes 3 to 4 days to dry with all the different coats. So thankfully I had to get that done, which bought me a few more days out of the water. But now we've got our hempel paint on there. And 2 days ago, we put our boat in the water. We put our tower back up, finished our cleaning and our stuff, and we put that boat in the water to try out those brand new Yamaha 350s from Troy Marine. And we're pumped. We put those white babies into water. We got them white this year so we could see the line going over the string and to upgrade the boat. And we took it right in the basin of Rudy Inlet, hit the button right off the bat, hit the stay point button. The boat sat still. Motors are going every direction. It was unreal. It wasn't very loud. It wasn't very violent. A motor was working pretty hard, but it wasn't too detrimental. But it sat still on a dime with 2 motors. So I was like, wow, this is amazing. So I did a couple stories like that. Then I went inside, hit the joystick button. I twisted the joystick around. I spun the boat around and did some Twisted Sister on the old story there for some jokes and laughs. And took it out front. Now, taking it out front for all the years, you've got trim tabs and you've got a lot of different things that make these boats run. And I'll tell you, and I gotta be like, I'm not saying I'm the best or any, but I have a lot of the knowledge that most people wouldn't because of the amount of hours I'm out there. That's what I could say.
Right.
That being said, I can notice little subtleties that most people wouldn't maybe notice, and I can tell and report back to everybody that'll make a huge difference in our worlds. So here's my first takeaways that are unbelievable. First, Seahawk owners, Seahawk 29s and the 25s, go with the 30-inch shaft. I had the 25s on the old ones, and it kind of got squirrely along the sides, and it seemed like it wanted to get all over the place. The 30-inch shafts makes this thing into a battle tank. It looks like it's just it runs different. It stays lower in the water. It plows through everything. It doesn't want to jump as much. And that is definitely one of the tickets. The second thing with these motors now is instead of having one, when you set your motors to aim at each other, because they're supposed to spray at each other about 30 to 50 feet behind the boat. There's a certain distance behind the boat. They're supposed to turn into each other, and the spray actually hits itself. So that's how you calibrate the actual motors pointing. If you think they're pointing cross-eyed or they're just straight, you don't want them just straight, is what I'm trying to tell you. When you set motors, obviously you want them a little bit cross-eyed where they're pointing when you're hauling ass. I guess it's about 30 to 40 yards, maybe, or 30 to 40 feet. I mean, somewhere in there, but you want the two motor sprays coming together. Make
Got it.
sense?
Yep.
So if you have anything way out there, way far back, you're not right. And if you're already too close, you're not right. But that being said, that's an average because at different speeds, it's going to affect the boat differently. So
Right.
now that these boat that I have has the Helm Master 4 and it takes off, it might take off starting straight. It might even push them together. It might even turn one. But as we were running 30 something miles an hour and I ran out to the back with nobody driving a boat and I looked at the motors, one of them, and the boat felt different. We weren't hitting that trough going with it as much. We
Right.
were kind of staying where we were heading. And I was like, this is different. I could feel the difference. So I was like, I wonder if one motor is just turning by itself and the other one's going straight kind of deal. Or if they're intermittently thinking over every wave. And I look back there and sure enough, one motor's pegging straight. The waves are coming from the port. The waves and wind were from the port. And the starboard motor was bearing down in the bottom of the trough, holding us straight. And the other one was doing
Wow.
the other one was driving down the trough and coming back up it. I was like, oh, it does do it. So I already had a ride difference right off the bat with the news. There's a stat for people that get technical with it. And
Yeah.
then when I got to the spot, I went ahead and hit fish point, which keeps the stern of the boat the same direction. I hit that over top of the wreck. And every time we drop, as soon as we drop, we're like, yeah, oh, we're off it. Oh, yeah, oh, we're off it. Oh, yeah, we're getting bites. I'm off it. I was whooping Russ early. I told him I was going to get out there and snake him. Now, look, when I fish and I catch charters and everything else, I'm not competing against them at all. I'm doing my own self. But when I'm on the boat and I'm holding a rod versus my buddy togging or I don't care what it is. We could be spot fishing. It's game on. I am there. I'm not there to catch fish. I am there just solely to kick your butt. That's the only reason I showed up was to slaughter you. So that being said, I'm ready to catch it. I don't care if it's a half inch bigger. I don't care if it's the biggest. I'm just going to beat you that day. More fish, this thing. I'm going to just slaughter you up. And my mates over the years, and I mean this, I remember the times they beat me. It's all in one hand. I think it's 4 times now. I think it's 4 times total now, but it's on one hand. And the amount of
That they
times they
beat
beat
you.
ever. And I remember where it was, and I remember the joke, and I remember the fish, and ha. Rob got me on trigger once. Matt got me on tog under the bridge once. Kenny, I handed him that fish that day, but I let him have it. So, and then other than that, and Matt's never got me. Matt got me under the bridge, and then Russ finally got me the other day. He finished off. So we finally figured out, guys, that hitting that thing on stay point does a little bit more. You don't control your up and down of how much thrust you're going to give it. Like on your joystick, you can give it 1 or 2 power and drive around. It's badass. It's amazing, like you're in a video game. But if you hit the stay point, it does it up 1 through 5 thrust. I mean, you don't control the thrust anymore. It goes wah when it wants, and
Mm-hmm.
man, it makes a little bit of noise. I was in like 100, almost 100 feet. We ran the boat. We left at 3 o'clock. We ran the boat 30 to 40 miles out there. Dropped
Oh, wow.
over and I hit that stay point button and it held me right over top of it. It was loud. I think I was, man, maybe the fish will hear or not. The clunks and the junks and everybody who doesn't have Yamahas with the thing, even me, is like, yeah, it's gonna chunk on the clutch dogs way too much, shifting back and forth, back and forth, back and forth. Man, you barely even hear it, man. It is the same thing I was doing, except it does it a little bit more. I might have left it in gear and over drifted it and back drifted it when I was doing it myself, and it does
Right.
it just goes chunk here and there, chunk. And it ain't when I hit that stay point, boy, me and Russ were fishing here, fishing there, fishing here. Before long, him and I it was blowing from the back. We're both sitting on the bow with the sun going down, legs crossed, rods overboard, all sitting by the windows, looking over, duking it out right on nobody driving the boat, no anchor
That's
down.
amazing.
The
Yeah.
thing's holding itself on the wreck. We found a better spot with there. We were like up front. I was like, let me just try for giggles. Because I was like, and it was great, man. I got to admit, we caught 9 tog, released all of them but 3, killed 3. And that was, like I said, only a couple, like an hour and a half on the grounds fishing. And, I heard a buddy that day was up at Watchaprig, my buddy James. What up, James? If you listen, he was up there with the boats and he said they had 3 fish caught and 2 keepers. So, and they fished 8 hours. So I was like, you
Wow.
know what? Hey, man, playing hookie's back, baby. And we
Yes,
haven't been
sir.
advertising or posting tautog or flounder on purpose because we don't want people booking with us. I send them over to See Me Wreck Dog and Reckless and Why Not. I send them all over to them guys. They're good guys. They're good charters. And let them fish with them because, I don't want to. My boat didn't have spot lock on the front of it. But now we are officially the largest spot lock boat in the state of Virginia that runs charters.
Boom, baby. That's
boom.
awesome.
And yeah, we got the curve curtains. We got the coverage. You get a comfortable ride, powerful motors. No expenses spared. I don't have a dollar to my name, but I literally I'm paying for a mansion right now, and I'll tell you all something stupid. Maybe I should or shouldn't repeat, but you know what, guys? When you look at a boat, they're priceless and everything else, but at the end of the day, counting everything that's been put into that boat, that thing is up to
It's got to be half a mil.
$500,000.
I was gonna say it's got to be $500,000, which
I got some years to pay for it. I got time. I
we
got
got
some time.
time.
That's
We got
a lot
time,
of
and
fish, boy. No, I don't know. We'll
to
see.
quote my old friend Chris Lee up there at Oyster Cove Boatworks, they coined that phrase. Hey, life is short. Buy the boat, and that
That's
that
it.
comes to mind. And that's where you got that 29 Seahawk from. And then of course, shout out to Troy and Andrew Kaiser over there for getting that repower done.
Yeah,
It's
man.
no
I got
it's
that
no
done quick.
small feat. And do you have the did you end up getting the Helmmaster joystick, the detachable one?
Okay, so awesome. We already have the joystick downstairs. I was going to have one upstairs so I could do everything I wanted to do upstairs and down.
Right.
But they have this new thing that's coming out, and we're going to be the first one in the area with it. It's a handheld. It's kind of like your spot lock control, because I guess your spot lock's in that handheld. There's a little joystick, your little thing you walk around with. You can use, right? I know
Yeah.
that there's plenty of trolling motors have that.
Yeah.
It's like when we went from the foot pedal to the hand, it had the little remote control. Well, anyway, it's a full screen, like probably like a cell phone, a little bit thicker, like a walkie-talkie size.
Yeah.
Anyway,
Yeah.
it has a charging station inside the bottom, and I carry that around with me, and I control my spot lock, my joystick, and everything by hand. And
That's so
I'll
cool.
be upstairs running Spanish mackerel trips with that joystick up there.
That's amazing.
Yeah, that's gonna be pretty cool for me up there. I know that I'm gonna be looking sword fishing. I can walk off the back and get our drift controlled right there. I don't have to run back in it back and forth to do that. It'll
Yep.
be pretty cool. We'll be like I said, one of the first ones. We already paid for it, waiting for it to come out though. That's the hard part. Is man, I better be here before summer. I am not trying to run up and down
Well,
Spanish mackerel fishing.
it gives you all kinds of cool options. I mean, I'm even thinking about when you're tuna fishing, you could be back there adjusting the speed of your troll while jigging lines. I mean, it just gives you so much additional capability that you don't have when you're locked behind the wheel trying to do stuff. And I want to go back to the very beginning because you said something, and I want to celebrate something with you, with all of our listeners. So you mentioned surgery, and
Yes.
and whenever we talk about surgery, we always, there's always the concern when we're biopsying things.
Yeah, I did. That's the news you're talking about. Oh yeah, everyone. I need to post this too because I need to make a health update. I haven't posted much. It's usually when my boat's not with me, I'm gonna say it. It's just the way the world works. The happiest guy y'all might know. I get depressed, man. I get bummed.
Oh
I get
yeah,
bummed out about. I get on Fortnite and just stare at the water when I'm waiting for the load screen. Just stare at the water. You know what I mean? It's just one of those things, guys, where I get bummed. Well, I had a body down and a boat down at the same time. So the
it's
only way to
tough.
heal is to not be bummed. So I had to stay positive, and the only way to be positive is to get back on that goddamn boat and go fishing.
Yep.
So honestly, and I didn't know what it was either. They had some masses they had to remove, so it was a lot of stress beforehand, getting everything lined up, timing it just right, and
Oh yeah.
financing a surgery. It's just a lot of stuff going on, guys. Keeping a mate paid in business. I love Russ, and I want to make sure he stays afloat. A lot of responsibility, and to time it where you don't lose your business doing it.
Right.
But for weeks they didn't tell me what it was or anything. After they removed stuff, they removed a couple masses. And they finally just 2 days ago told me it wasn't the bad guys. It wasn't the bad guy. I don't even want to use the word we're not, but it just
Right.
was not the bad
We're
guy.
we're
So
not
I'm
there.
very
That's
happy
awesome.
about that. That was a big weight off my chest. And to be honest,
Absolutely,
guys,
dude.
I'm not 100% by any means. I went fishing the other day, probably against the recommendations of family and friends and the doctor. But the rock said it best, guys. It doesn't matter what they say. I'm going fishing, boys. I had to. I had to get out there. And honestly, that was worth 5 days of my soul, even if I might have lost one day on the ground for it. But yeah,
No,
I
no
was in
doubt.
I was in the beanbag on the ride in. I had to, and I couldn't sit in my chair on the ride out. So it was one of those. Yeah, I
And
could
you
do it.
had and just to remind folks, so you had the Yamaha 300s before, and now you've got the Yamaha 350s. Is there a weight difference, or are they about the same?
Yeah, there's definitely is. It was 25 pounds each motor, so that would have been 50 pounds. No, it was 50 pounds each motor. That's right. It was
Okay,
50 pounds each motor. So that's an extra 100 pounds.
but an extra 100 horsepower.
But I went with the longer shafts too. So you're going to add another 25 pounds each for the shafts on each one.
Right.
Now you're
Yep.
at now you're at 150 pounds. So what we did on that Seahawk was we just went ahead and shoved the plugs all the way in, and we put a deck bilge. So now we have a
Okay.
deck bilge pump on there with no scupper plugs like we used to have, and all our blood will be blasting out the side port.
There you go. There you go.
Yeah, we
Yeah,
can't
and I
wait for
mean,
tuna fishing.
if
Tuna
you,
fishing is gonna be fun this year. We're
oh
booking
yeah,
fast. We're booking fast for July and June.
oh man, I'm excited for tuna season this year too, and I'm also really interested to see what kind of trolling opportunities come up now that we've had like a full, I guess, season with those windmill bases out there. Because we gotta, I would have to expect that we're going to see a ton of marine life, kind of creating a habitat out there as they get more familiar with that area out there.
Yeah, I guess until the vibrations go. I mean, you never know with those with long term effects of those, or just how many animals will or won't go where those things.
I
This
know,
it's scientifically proven. Sitting under those things fishing for long enough when the blades are spinning is not good for you at all. I know.
really.
Yeah. Here and I'll give you firsthand knowledge. I had to do research for 2 days in a row on the windmills with them. Whoa, whoa,
Yeah,
whoa, and they were going quick. They're
yeah,
right overhead. The next day during the trip, my bell was ringing. Like I played football and I hit somebody full blast helmet to helmet, and then about a day later, that's what it felt like. You know what I mean? When your head's
interesting.
still ringing, dude, you're just like,
Yeah,
and if you lean your head too far one direction, it bang like your brain. You can feel your brain beating around. I didn't like.
yeah,
I reported on it myself that I was like, dude, I'm not. I don't want to work on these windmills no more. I don't want to be the windmill research boat if I don't gotta be. I mean,
yeah.
if you want to plant some the bottoms and stuff like that, these weights, and we pull up these sonar transmitters and acoustic sounding and stuff, I'll help you with that. But sitting underneath them catching fish, sticking giant tags in them that are gonna kill them anyway, that are bigger than the fish. I mean, we're not doing a lot of research here. I could solve your problem right now. You just killed that one, that one, and that one. They're gonna die.
Are we
Done.
talking about sea? Are we talking about sea bass?
Yeah, when we did we
Yeah.
were catching sea bass under the windmills.
Yeah, it's such a catch-22, and I really don't know how to feel about it one way or the other. I think I lean more towards, the detriments outweigh the positives, but it does suck that it's like on one hand, there's this detriment to the environment. On the other hand, it creates, all this artificial reef out there that,
Yeah, I was
it's
that way
it's
in the
tough.
beginning, Luke. I was definitely that way in the beginning as a fisherman who doesn't, fished limitedly and didn't know. I was one of those, man, they're putting a lot more fish in. Sweet, I'm down with the windmills. And then when you drive through them, you almost got killed by them. There's a drone boat that almost cuts your boat in half.
Yeah,
They can kill whales or killing all these dolphins, and not to mention, I really don't know why they would put that big a stretch. It limits our navy coming out. Our
yeah,
navy has to go one way or the other, and it limits our navy. I'm not being a
yeah.
strategist, but god dang, if they ain't got to go they aren't going through that huge grid, and that is
Right.
literally like a huge swath of leaving Virginia Beach. Not to mention the overall, they're not worth the crap. They threw it in there so fast. They didn't vote on it. Nobody got a say on it. They just did it. They just slapped
Yeah,
it in there. China
yeah.
makes. I'm not repeating anybody particular's points, but China makes the windmills. Doesn't have any windmills.
Right.
Come
Well, and
on.
and here's a funny, like, just purely objective thought process here. Like, all I've seen lately is Dominion Energy bills going up, and in my simple mind, if I knew that, there was this expected ROI in terms of the grid, getting, served by this windmill, if I knew money was going to be coming in from the windmill farm, wouldn't I be able to, like, maybe excite my customers by being like, hey, in advance of the expected surplus energy from the grid, we're gonna do a 4% reduction,
Help y'all
so,
out real quick. Anything. Throw a dog a bone.
something, yeah,
Throw a
instead it's
dog a
like it's
bone,
going
man.
up, but it's like, wait, how does that make sense? Aren't we supplementing the grid with these wind? Anyways, we're not here to be, politicians or take a stance one way or the other. It's just a matter of opinion, but you
They've
know,
almost killed me 5 times. Those things can kiss my butt, dude. I swear.
well,
I have an opinion. Those things can
yeah,
totally kiss my butt, dude. They've almost killed me and my crew 5 times. Metal cans floating in the middle of nowhere, unlit at night. Are you kidding me?
yeah,
Yellow buoys, they don't, right around their anchor buoys, unlit. Oops, they're out. The metal can that sits right out in front of the
I
inlet,
have seen that.
that only sits about a 2 feet above the water, and you got 3 foot waves rolling over it. You can't even
You
see it.
can't see it. Nope.
I mean, dude,
Nope.
there's just so many things. And you know what? Just like I said, and I'll say it one last time, they got their little chart that says whales they can kill. They got their little chart with a picture of dolphins they can kill, and they got a little chart with how many boaters they can kill with little boats. How many can get smoked, dude? They're like it's like airplane kills. How many planes you shot down is how many boaters they smoked.
Yeah, I
You
saw
know
on
what I
their
mean?
chart that they're allowed 129 Seahawks, and maybe that's why they're
Dude,
going to
hey,
start
let's knock on
targeting
wood.
you.
Hey, they're not allowed no Seahawks, bro. No, don't put my boat on their list.
Oh man.
Upgrade your waterfront with Killer Doc's premium dock furniture, built to last a lifetime in marine conditions. Crafted from marine-grade aluminum with a protective anti-corrosion coating, it's tough enough to handle the elements while providing unmatched comfort. Featuring Sunbrella cushions with fast-drying, removable covers, our furniture stays securely in place even in storms. Choose from cabanas, club chairs, love seats, tables, and more to create your perfect dockside retreat. Durability meets elegance at Killer Dock. Check out the full collection at killerdock.com today.
Switching gears back to the Dog Dog.
Yeah, man, I hate them
What
movies.
what was your experience out there? I mean, was it plentiful? I mean, you said you caught 13 and kept three.
No, we caught 9, and yeah,
9, but that was only in 2 hours. So was
or
it
less. Yeah.
a decent bite, or was it slow? I mean, it was 2 hours, so you don't have a whole ton of.
Well, I mean, I've been tog fishing for so many years, and I use all these different techniques. So there's no telling what the difference for someone else might have been. I'm not saying we did better than someone could have done, but we knew when we were in instruction, when we weren't. We made sure to fish. We capitalized on our time to fish. We didn't just. Sometimes you're just so happy to be out there fishing, you'll just hold your line and think of near something and be like, all right, we're fishing. The fishing slow. No, you just not on the wreck. You're not where the fish are. You're not where they're
Right.
biting. Move your boat around, move somewhere else, and try again and get a little bit of a bite and be like, all right, let's try here for a little while till the bites are gone. You know,
Yeah.
you gotta keep it moving. Otherwise, and I moved. I changed a bunch of spots until I hit that stay point button on the center of that thing. Once I hit stay point, we got a 20 of a 30-foot boat you can walk around and drop lines down on. You got tons of room to go anywhere you want.
Yeah, that part's incredible. And when it comes to tautog fishing early season like this, like, do you do anything different with your bait or your hook or your setup, or do you fish it just like you always would?
Here's your tip of the day for tog, guys. Your tip of the day for tog is 2s and 3s. Now, when you find a ferocious tog bite, and of course you always want that giant tog, so you drop that giant bait for the tog, and guess what you're doing? You're limiting yourself. You're not gonna, you got to put your bait accordingly. If you're inside the bay, you can run bigger pieces because you know there could be some bigger fish here, and that's the only time you can run a little mixture. But other than that, you got to know that inshore wrecks are going to need the 2s. The 2s are the main back knuckle, the flipper, the paddle fin, and the other one. That's a 2. 1-2 sections of crab is a 2. You cut it right at the 2, then you round it off like a cheeseburger. You put it straight if you want, but nothing's really straight in nature, guys. It's kind of rounded, so you make it straight. It's just not natural. I round mine off like I make it into a cheeseburger. I cut me some legs off. I leave half a leg on. Some people take them all the way off. And I like to leave a leg on there, like a little twitch. And I don't even cut my crab till I get there. I cut my crab over the spot right then and there before I drop it. I want my last twitch to be going on its way down. That's a lot of tips, guys, real quick. Then when you get to the bottom, I like to get I like to have my rig there and keep it there. Maybe move it around until I find a good little structure, knock on some doors maybe, and then get myself a bite. And once I get a bite, I like to piss them back off with a little tap, keep my sinker still, and then boom, slap them in the face real hard, yank and crank, never go back down, and always think you got them on till you don't. It's a lot of to it, but if you've done it enough, you know exactly what I just meant right then. I definitely said it fast on purpose so you didn't pick it all up.
And what size hook are you using?
Whatever Russ puts on the thing. No, I'm just
Okay.
kidding. I don't know. I'm just kidding. I used to like 2s and 4s and 3s. Just depends on the size. Now that was let me finish, guys. The 2s are the 2 sections of crabs you want to use inshore. And as you get further offshore with bigger fish, you can run 3 sections. Like they're called 3s. You run bigger sections of crab. And I mean, and I'll tell you the truth. Well, this one day I was on fire. I just had this wreck dialed in. It was, lots of years ago. It was a big picture I always post. But I was using half crabs. I knew they were so big. Every time I dropped, I was like, well, I'm just gonna throw it back. I threw it bigger, and bigger, and I was using like 4 or 5 circles, like giant, like big red hook. I was using big hooks too because they were huge fish, and every one was just coming up. It was like 15-pounder, 16, 17-pounder. Then it was like 13-pounder. And it was like I was just scooping them in a crab net. This girl was with me, got a 10-pounder, and she puked and passed out. So I just ripped him, man. I destroyed him on that Key West that day. But yeah, after that, and I killed him too back then because he was like, oh yeah, because and then you figure out after you're like, these taste bad, and I'm not doing this again. And then eventually I wasn't even a charter yet, nowhere near. And after I became a charter, I was like, yo, let's start releasing these things so we can come back to them. Try to get these guys to get their release citation if they want a trophy and pound their chest. We can weigh it real quick and send it back down. They'll live, man. And we ended up seeing our same fish over and over and over. You see them for a while till you get that greedy charter is like, I'm keeping my fish. And you're like, all right.
No, you make a very good point. I remember about a year and a half ago interviewing Susanna Muzak with the Virginia Marine Resource Commission, who does the tagging program. And she said one of the longest tags that they had was a tautog that was out for 11 years. So they tagged it and then it was harvested 11 years later, but it was released twice during that time frame. But the key point is that it was the same wreck. So it was tagged on one wreck and then
You know
tagged
what's funny?
caught
I
and
know
release,
exactly
and
what I
then
know exactly who tagged it, and I know exactly which wreck you're on.
yeah.
I know, but I can't release those informations right now.
No, but that's crazy to think about the fact that those tog do really, I mean, when that once they find a home, that's their home. And then in terms of like your actual, leader and terminal tackle setup, so like describe from like the bottom up, like what's the setup for tog that you like to use, like weight and leader and how you tie it. What do you typically like to do?
All right. I'll start with what we throw out for the customer. If we throw out for the customer is something pretty basic, so that it's not going to be too high of a gain and too high of a and too slow of a gain. But basically, they get down with a conventional reel. They're going to have 40 to 50 pound braided line on there.
Okay.
Man, I'm not a fan of these yellows and all these other crazy colors people like to use. I'm more of a match the water color with the line. You're in green water, you green line. We're in a lot of green water in this area, so I use a lot of green line. Anyway,
Line. Yeah.
I like to match that. Then I get down there and we put a rig on there. I like 50 to 60 on there. 50's good inshore. 60's if you know you're gonna have some beasts. I've had to put 80 before, but I mean, you want to get some nice ones on there with a nice big leader. And I like to run just a straight up tie into the rig, right into the. I don't do anything fancy like clip swivels or anything. I tie right into the line. I tie
Yeah.
right into the bottom. We put an 8 ounce on the bottom. Now, as you get over 100 feet, you're gonna run it, 10 ounce, 12 ounce if you want.
Hmm.
And your current, you could have some days where you're sitting still and your current's ripping, but I mean, I don't care if I have a 5 ounce. If the current's ripping, you just throw another 20 feet up against the current. When it comes down, it wants straight up and down. Your sonar is reading up and down. It's not going forward or backwards. And it could be depending.
Right.
It actually can be if it's leaning the wrong way. But most times you're going to find and you know what? I'll give you another tip. No matter where your sonar is on your boat, when you figure out when your boat sits still, and everything's always to the front, the wreck's to the front, and you feel the structure there, that means your sonar's aiming to the front a little bit, which is fine. But you got to memorize that for when you're fishing to know that you're always going to be a little bit ahead on your sonar. Some sonars will tell you it's here and it's behind you more. And it's
Right.
all the wreck's always behind you. You're like, damn, the sonar's aiming a little bit out. So that could be the case, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
I personally love to look at my screen, look at the map, look at the sonar, then drop, thinking I'm going to have a wreck underneath me. If not, no wreck. If you're not a rule on playing hookies, you're not getting hung in the wreck, then you're not wreck fishing. So that's another good rule. I'm not getting stuck in the wreck, then you're just fishing.
I'm sure that's music to Russ's ears as the mate retying rigs all the time.
Yeah, well, I definitely have trained him over the years to get him out of the wrecks, and I get him out
Yeah.
of the wrecks all the time. And I even tell the customer, like, look, if you get stuck in the wreck, do not set the hook and set it home. I was like,
Yeah.
I used to fish with Jimmy Cobb, and he would call it a keeper. You'd pull the thing so hard, that's a keeper for the wreck. You got a keeper.
Yeah.
You got a
Wreck
keeper.
keeper.
Yeah, for the wreck.
That's so funny.
Yeah, he's
Well,
like, that's a keeper.
those are killer tips, and anybody that is tog fishing or has tog fished, I'm sure they either confirm that, or for somebody that hasn't tog fished before, you can glean a lot of really good tips out of that that'll help you be successful. And what you said about the sonar actually just made a ton of sense to me, because I know some folks have. I forget the exact class of sonar, but they're the brass, flush mount to the bottom of your hull. But if
Yep.
but if you don't have the one that goes into the fairing block, that flange, it's not necessarily straight up and down. So that's a really good tip to pay attention to. Like if your sonar is coming out at a very, very slight angle off the bottom of your boat, you got to learn which side of the boat that is and pay attention to where that puts you in position to the wreck.
It's not that bad. It's really not that bad on the through holes, because the through holes for the most part are going to be flat when the boat's flat.
Right.
But it's more of those ones that were on the back. Those
Yeah,
ones with
the mounting bracket.
the mountain bracket that can go up or down. That's the ones. Because that's where I noticed on the other boat over the years. Definitely,
Right.
that's where I could notice because my sonar was here and it would stay there, and I'm like, all right, that means it's there.
Yeah,
And
absolutely.
knowing your boat is just like another thing to know your own boat.
For sure. Well, it's almost the end of March, so coming into April and May, what do you think Playing Hooky is going to be going for? And if folks are interested in those types of trips, how do they connect with you to book?
Great question. All right, so here's what we're looking at. We're like I said, we're already booking for June and July, plenty for yellowfin tuna, and the August will be the mahi. But we plan on personally. Let me just before the charter schedule. Russ and I had to say this after my surgery, guys. On here, you guys know me. I am literally even with a beer. I finally had a beer the other night. And I had a couple beers, and the first thing that popped out of my face when I had about 2 or 3 beers was, I don't care what anybody says. As soon as I put that boat in the water to break it in, I'm heading at 115 miles of Hatteras. We're going for tuna, baby. Like we're going. That's it. No stopping. I was like, I'll do 1,000 RPM, then I'll do 2,000 RPM. We'll get there in 6 hours, but we're going. We're trolling, boys. I was like, then that was my heart talking. I really didn't do that, but I
Yeah.
I know as soon as I do get healthy, and I have one of those days coming up where it might be a walk on day, but it's Slick Willie. I am running and gunning, bud. I want these fish to get down there real good so I can get some yellowfin. I love yellowfin. I can't wait to go catch some. But now to answer your question, like you wanted me to, we're gonna here's what Playing Hookie's gonna be doing. We already have a bunch of trips booking for Tautog. People know the boat even beforehand. They were booking from years in the past, and they're gonna book for Tautog, and we're gonna be going deep dropping. Wait till you see this thing deep dropping with
Nice.
these motors when we sit still and start smacking some rosefish, man. We're gonna beat up some rosefish. We're gonna beat up some grouper. We're gonna beat up some golden tiles, and that's gonna be our
Mm.
deep drop trips coming up here. It's gonna be golden, grouper, and rosy trips, and it might be some bluefish mixed in, but that's about all. We're going to be going for that, and we're going to be doing those for 12 hours. And at the current rate, we're still at 520. Now, as we get forward and we might raise our offshore price to meet with the other boats. Probably still be a little bit lower, but not so low because I hadn't switched it from the 7 to 20, the 25 footer. 20, yeah, the 20. Yeah, that sounds small, don't it?
I know.
Yeah, we hadn't switched the prices yet. From there, we stayed at 26. Once we moved up to the new boat, we stayed at 26, and we're going to bring it up to probably 28. Everyone else is
Mhm.
up $3,000 in the inlet, so we'll probably meet there. But I can't do it yet because someone will be like, "You changed your prices because of the gas." Oh, and make a
I
whole
know,
news
right?
story out of it, and they'll be stalking me down with 3 news channels at my house
Yeah.
to put my words on me. Now they can't get me, bud.
No.
No, not gonna get us, man. We have too much good in this neighborhood, in this area, in this Virginia Beach that we pass on, and there's too much great charter fishing. There's too many great things going on for let anything stop us, man. No negativity needed. We're fishing is good. Fishing is good for the soul, and we all know that. That's why we love it.
Absolutely. And if they want to get booked with you, what's the best way they contact you to book a trip?
Well, what they got to do is walk all the way down to the inlet. No, I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding. Check me out at playinghookeycharters.com. You got the Facebook, the socials. You got 757-619-3530. Man, shoot me a message, but there's a million different ways. And hey, guys, just want to let you know out there, there's a lot of y'all on listening to this podcast, and I really appreciate seeing y'all in public telling me about this thing. And a lot of y'all are recommending people to call Playing Hooky because they're like, Jeff told me to go, or Tom. And I really appreciate all the word of mouth, guys. That's one thing I take pride in. We've never used an advertising service. We've never used FishBooker ever. They never got a dollar from us. All we've done is hard work and dedication to the craft and the sport that we love, and keeping people happy and fed with the best meals on the planet, man. Lucas,
There you
talking
go.
with you today, buddy.
Yeah,
I
man,
appreciate it.
always a pleasure, and love following your socials because we get great fish content. We get a little bit of humor. There's always a great, you're like one of the best like DJs when it comes to like matching the music with whatever's being put in the video. And then of course at nighttime we always get some sort of inside look to what you're cooking, which is always good, man. Always great catching up with you. And hey, it's early in the morning, so we'll crack a virtual beer to cheers to the bad guy not being there, man. So glad that your health
Yeah,
is on
man.
track. That's a big
Yeah.
deal. So
I
congrats,
got,
man.
I got, I got goosebumps from you saying that. Hearing it sounds different than it sounds great, man.
Saying
I
it,
appreciate
yeah.
it. Yeah, I haven't said it, man. I haven't said it much to anybody, but yeah, I
It
appreciate that, man.
you bet, man. It's a big deal. And anybody that's gone through any sort of a health thing or had a loved one go through a health thing, like the hardest part is the period of not knowing, that
Yeah,
in between time. So I'm just glad for your sake that like the boat's back in the water, she's running,
dude.
the body's back, the bad guy's not here. I mean, it's like the in between, the not knowing period is over, and now you can really just focus on getting re-energized, getting your strength all the way back, and being ready for an awesome 2026 season.
You got it, man. We already had a great vibe on that boat, but I really feel like there's gonna be a whole new vibe on that boat, man. There's a new me, a new boat. I mean, I'm happy.
Yep.
I'm happy to be here with you guys. You know what I mean? So,
Absolutely,
and I
dude.
was already happy to be here. So imagine even being more happy to be here,
It's a
man. People,
four.
people are gonna love it.
It's a force multiplier. All right,
It
man. Well, you
is.
be good. You be good, folks. That's gonna wrap up an epic chat with Captain Bill, who's back. His body's back. His boat is back. Look him up, follow him, get booked. It's gonna be an awesome season. Stick around for a quick word from our sponsors that make this fun and free content for you each and every week. And we'll be back with you real soon.
Turn your dock into more than just a place to park your boat with Slipski's Dorado Oasis cover. Engineered for both beauty and protection, the Dorado Oasis transforms your dock into a shaded, all-weather living space, perfect for relaxing by the water or entertaining friends. Built from marine-grade aluminum and premium fabric, it also provides year-round protection from sun, rain, and debris. Whether you're lounging dockside or keeping your boat covered and ready to go, Slipski delivers comfort, convenience, and peace of mind. Slipski, think outside the boathouse. Visit slipski.com.
All right, guys, I want to catch up with an old friend of the show. It's been in several months, but like we were talking about before we hit record, it's been a long winter. And unless you're out there doing crazy stuff in the cold, you don't get to fish too much. So I want to welcome back to the show Captain Colt North with Litigator Sport Fishing. How we doing, Cap? Long time no chat.
Doing well, Luke. How are you doing?
I'm good, man. I've seen some, buds on the trees and some pollen. Dogwoods are starting to bloom. I think we're almost there, man. But catch us up, for those that are hearing your voice for the first time, talk us through Litigator Sport Fishing. What boats do you guys have in the fleet, and what have y'all been up to this winter?
Yeah, Luke. My name's Colt. I run Litigator Sport Fishing. I've got a 26-foot Intrepid, and I've got a 24-foot Privateer, focusing on mainly sight fishing in the bay, cobia, red drum, and then, just about everything else we do as well. Been a busy winter, getting the boats ready for the spring and summer. Knocked out a few upgrades, and, of course, regular and basic maintenance to the boats. Got a new trolling motor. Still got to detail the boats and get them 100% right, but mechanically, functioning-wise, everything's brought up to date and got some new stuff to play with. I'm really looking forward to getting started this spring with some red drum and, on to summer with some cobia, and would love to have anyone out.
Yeah, man, I'm hopeful it's going to be a great season ahead. I feel like it's just got to be, especially with how tough last season was. But what's one of the upgrades that you did that you're excited about?
Yeah, sure. I went ahead and ordered a larger trolling motor for my Intrepid and justified that by putting I had a 72-inch Minn Kota. I put that on the Privateer and ordered myself an 87-inch just to make up for a little bit of bow height. The 72 always worked all right, but the 87 is going to be a game changer, especially fishing in any kind of seas. Really stoked to have that, and stoked to have a trolling motor on both boats now. It just opens up a lot of options for me. That's probably the biggest and most crucial upgrade I did.
Yeah, I've never heard anyone say they regretted their trolling motor. How do you measure, like when you're looking at your Intrepid, how do you measure and determine what length shaft you want to get?
Yeah, I had the 72 and it worked fine. I mean, I couldn't tell. There's probably an exact spreadsheet on doing it. I just assume the more in the water, the better for me. I'm not really using it shallow water fishing. That's not a huge concern to me. I'm more so using it for spot lock. So my theory was having the 72-inch for 2 years, I knew a bigger, longer one would do me better in seas, and it really improves the handling of the trolling motor in general. I find that the deeper that thing is in the water, to an extent, has really improved my spot holding capabilities.
I see what you're saying. That actually takes me back to a memory being out on one of the wrecks, and I was hearing, this noise, and I looked over, and it was every time that the bow would get picked up and dropped by a wave, you'd hear the guy's trolling motor come out of the water and spin free. So, which I guess you lose a little bit of your spot, and then the trolling motor's playing catch up, and then you lose a little bit of your spot, and that cycle repeats itself. So you're going to be holding tight now that you're deep below the surface of the water, even when that bow's going up and down.
Yeah, the 72 worked out well for, up to a foot seas, but not that I necessarily want to be bottom fishing in 2-foot seas, but to know I can do it.
Yeah.
To know I can do it and to know I've got that extra level of security is a nice feeling. I already tested it out a few times this year and ran through all the systems and whatnot a few times on a few recon scouting missions that paid off or that did not pay off. They were not fruitful. But I did get to, put all my gear to use and all my stuff and make sure everything was dialed in for the upcoming season.
Yeah, I don't think there's anything more exciting than a new toy on the boat, whether that's a chart plotter or a new sonar or a new trolling motor. Getting to go out there and flesh it out, it's just so much fun. It's like being a kid on Christmas again. Which specific? You said you went with did I hear you say Terrova or Terra Nova?
Yeah, I run Minn Kota Tarovas. I don't use the auto deploy. I'm sure the auto and those special deploying ones are great and they work for a lot of people, but doing what I do, I really want as simple as I can get things. The less moving parts, the better. So I've always stuck with the base, I guess you'd call it base model Terrova. It's not the auto deploy and retract and all that fanciness.
Got it. And again, I'm not questioning you as a
trolling motor expert. I'm just curious, with your setup, did you go with traditional lead acid or batteries, or did you go lithium? I'm just curious.
I got a lithium 3 or 4 years ago when I first had a trolling motor on my Intrepid, and I got another one. I put the one I had on the other boat, and because they do have a lifetime, so that one, when it goes up, I'll get it a new one as well. And I just got another new one for my for my Intrepid, the one that got the new trolling motor. I've always run, ever since they came out, at least I've had nothing but good experiences with lithiums. I've got a Dakota on one boat and an Amped on my main boat, and they've been good to me.
Good to know, because I haven't spoken to anybody that's actually used one firsthand on a trolling motor specifically. So, is yours a 48 volt trolling motor or 36 volt?
They're both 36 volts, and they both have 36 volt 120 amp hour or something like that batteries.
Lithiums.
I'd have to look. I try and ignore their existence. The toys are fun and all, but there's nothing fun about paying for a high quality lithium battery or a high quality trolling motor.
I was going to say I know those lithium batteries are not cheap, but I mean, in your opinion, if you were to just kind of like pro and con, a traditional lead acid versus a lithium, what's kind of the primary biggest difference that stands out to you besides weight in terms of like performance between the two types of batteries?
Well, that's a hard question to answer, because the only lead acid trolling motor I ever had was like a Minn Kota 55-pound thrust on a Carolina skiff, and man, that was 10, 12 years ago. I don't even remember it.
Gotcha.
I've had nothing but these lithiums since I got them on the big boats, but I can just say from my experience, the battery life is amazing. It's absolutely phenomenal. I find if I go a little overkill on the trolling motor, it doesn't work as hard, hence the longer shaft, and the battery just lasts forever. I mean, I've gone multiple trips before running it for 4 or 5 hours, spot locking on a reef or spot locking or using it fully. I've gone 2, 3, 4, 5 trips before. I mean, I want to say I've gone 5 if I did like something for like 2 or 3 hours each day.
That's really impressive. And then, of course, they're super lightweight. And then, if I understand it correctly, and I think I talked to Brandon at Interstate Batteries about this back when, but the way that they like discharge, it's like an even discharge the whole time. So it's not like your trolling motor like slowly gets like weaker and weaker. You have consistent energy the whole charge, right?
Right. 100%. Like you said, I don't know the details of it, but I definitely know, and I've heard that, and I've seen that firsthand, because I've never had my trolling motor slowly die, ever. It's never gotten weak or anything like that. And I've always, the coolest thing is the dang batteries come with, you can download an app and you can monitor your battery life. All the features of those batteries you can monitor with an app on your phone.
That's
so I pretty
cool.
much know everything to the detail at any given time, know when to charge it, know how long to charge it for. And it's been pretty simple. I can't say a single bad thing about any of it other than the price, but you get what you pay for.
All right. That's true. And that's, again, anybody that's out there, if you're thinking about, buying a boat, or you just want to take your friends and go charter and have fun, economically speaking, you do much better for yourself if you just book a charter than trying to buy a boat and control a motor and a tower and maintain it. I mean, it's a big expense and a lot of work. And of course, you've got the tower on the Intrepid, and forgive me, I can't remember. Did you put a tower on the privateer as well, or is that more of an inshore boat?
Yep.
You did. Okay.
They've both got full towers. They've both got trolling motors. They've both got tons of space.
That's awesome. And those are both people that know boats are going to immediately be like, oh yeah, an Intrepid and a privateer, those are going to be very dry, comfortable riding boats. But they really are. I mean, there's all kinds of boats out there you can get your hands on, but those are two really well-made boats. Back when they used to, hand lay glass and have a transom that was thicker than a piece of drywall, that sort of thing. Well, what else is new, man? It's what, end of March, beginning of April. You mentioned some scouting trips that were not fruitful, and one of the key sayings on this show is we talk about the good, bad, and the ugly. So it sounds like it was ugly. What did you guys not see?
Well, we're just poking our heads around, and we haven't really seen anything. I saw some ospreys today, and haven't seen much bait, haven't seen much life. But that comes with the territory. The cool thing about Virginia and our waters, especially where we're at here in the peninsula, or where I'm at in the peninsula here in Yorktown, it only takes a couple days. This weather we've got this week's a prime example. You get 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 consistent days of pretty weather, that's going to alter the bay's temperature by, multiple degrees.
Right.
And a lot of life's going to show up with it. So it's always a gamble. March is always a gamble for me, fishing inside the bay, that is,
Right.
at when I can really start fishing. So I kind of have to bite the bullet and do a decent amount of, fair amount of fishing before I start running trips, which is fine. I've learned it, and it comes with the territory, and I don't mind it. It's kind of fun looking at everything from a different perspective of empty and clean water, clear water, clean water, not a lot of boaters. So it's kind of nice to stretch your legs and go looking.
You're right, man. The clear water is definitely cool to see because it only lasts for a short while before I guess the algae bloom kicks off or whatever. But it is really neat this time of year, like February, March and into early April, where you can go around and be in 5, 6 feet of water and pretty much see the bottom, which is really, really cool. But it's also just fun. I mean, I haven't been out yet this year to do anything, not even scouting, but those first trips out after being cooped up all winter long is there's something to it, just being out there, regardless of seeing a fish or not.
Yeah, that's how the people who have come with me and how I look at it every year.
Yep. So another thing you guys do that I've always found to be pretty neat, I know Zach Hoffman on the salt treated does these as well. But tell us about your kids camp offerings. We talked about these last year, right before you guys were doing them, and it's really a unique and cool opportunity for kids of all ages. But give us a rundown on your kids camps, when they typically run, what kind of activities they're going to be doing, and what the structure's like.
Yeah, so I offer a 3-day kids camp. I try and set up as many of them as I can. Obviously I've run private charters with, private groups of a few people every day, and I have to set up my camp super early in the year to avoid any booking conflicts. So I always set them up June, July, August timeframe. That tends to be when more kids are out of school. Late June, early, all of July and early August, I try and target. All my camps, for the most part, are 3-day camps. It's usually a Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. It's 6 hours a day. And really, I try and do something different each day. But the general rundown at the camp would be I treat them like a charter guest. I don't do a whole lot of kids stuff, and the kids have really enjoyed that. I do plenty of stuff as far as teaching and whatnot, but when it comes to the level of fishing we're doing, it's a different level than most camps or most opportunities are making available. That most camps and other, it's hard to compare the opportunities that these kids get. It's like a grocery run to the parents sometimes. It's just an awesome experience for the kids, catching fish bigger than they are.
Right.
We try and do something different each day, whether it's cobia or inshore or bottom fishing and trolling or, it's been a lot of fun. Every camp's a little different. Not one has ever been the exact same as another. They've all had one thing in common. I don't think I've had an unsuccessful camp yet where we didn't have at least one phenomenal or two or all 3 days be phenomenal fishing for any skill level. I open it to ages 8 through 16, give or take a year. I'm flexible. It's not like a hardened rule. I just try and group kids together by age and flexibility and whatnot, and provide everything. It's a summer camp in the sense that once they get dropped off at 9 o'clock, all they need are food and drinks, and I've got everything else covered.
That's awesome. It is really cool to see the look on a kid's face, because for them, it's a lot of the kids, I would imagine, it's their first experience, like doing like big boy fishing, like getting connected to a cobia or getting connected to a couple of nice size, bull reds or even some, inshore redfish, some flounder, some tog, whatever's biting that day that you get out there. I remember my buddy Ryan Clark bringing out his son Fisher. I mean, couldn't name a kid a better name, but he was 9 years old, and he caught and fought all the way to the boat a 52-inch cobia. And I mean, many times I thought for sure he was going to like look up and ask his dad to help him out, but it was just like the determination on that kid's face and how much fun he was having. Like, if you could bottle it up and sell it, you'd be a millionaire. So I mean, I would highly encourage anybody that's got kids that have even, whether they've expressed an interest in fishing or not, if you're looking for like a once in a lifetime experience for them this summer, I would definitely recommend checking out these kids camps. What have been, a story or two that come to mind? You talk about some phenomenal fishing days. Any fun or cool fishing stories that come to mind from last year's kids camps?
I could name one from every camp, but yeah, sure. Last year was unique in the sense of how far I had to go to catch fish and the trust the parents had with me. And I had a group of 4 boys one time, and we ended up starting the morning off when we left the pickup spot at 9 o'clock. We ran like 30 some miles from where I leave from in Yorktown out into the ocean, or ocean side of the bridge, I'll call it. Not necessarily in the ocean, but ocean side of the bridge tunnel, and ended up having each of the boys catch a cobia. And then on the way in, we were only fishing for like an hour to catch 4 fish. We came back into the bay early it was a gorgeous day as well, but we came back into the bay early and stumbled upon a school of overslot reds, and they each caught a couple of them. And it's a crazy day. Like, if I had a normal charter on a day like that, it would be absolutely outstanding. And somehow, some way, I've just gotten these camps down timing wise to where there's usually something pretty phenomenal happening in this week span of each year.
Yeah.
I can't take any credit for that other than I got lucky my first year when I set dates. And
Yeah.
I've kind of stayed with those dates as we move on. They change a little bit because the calendar changes every year a little bit. But Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday of the weeks, and the certain weeks I set up kind of spread out. It just seems to have worked out really well. So that's one. And then another one, 2 weeks later, another camp. I remember we had 4 boys again, which is usually what I max the camp out at, is 4 or 5 kids.
Yeah.
We had one day where every kid caught one over 50 inches, a cobia over 50 inches. And this is in a 6-hour camp, keep in mind. So we're only sight fishing from like 10 to 2. The rest
That's
of it, there's a lot of
crazy.
other times spread catching bait, showing them stuff. And to have days like that work out, especially on kids camp. And like I said, it's been a trend that has stuck to, whether it be, going and catching monster sheep's head one camp, and we can do it. I don't even know how to describe it. They've been phenomenal, and there are so many phenomenal days. It's hard to tell you which ones really stand out.
No, that gets me fired up. And if the parents out there listening, I'm sure we get them fired up for their kid to have a chance at some of these core memories, and going back to school in the fall and having all kinds of epic fish pictures in your phone to show your friends, some serious clout that they could take with them. But more importantly, and this is a message for the parents too, just a reminder, Captain Colt, of course, U.S. Coast Guard, licensed, insured, competent mates, great network. And those are the things that you want to know when you trust your kids to them. They're going to be safe, and all the protocols are going to be taken. I know you take safety very seriously. We've talked about your maintenance protocols before. How long now have you been running boats and chartering in total?
Well, I started when I first got a driver's permit. I was riding to Virginia Beach, mating for some good friends of mine, the Marva crew, Tom and
Yep.
Trey Ritter. I
Yep.
mated for them 2 full summers, and then maybe a half of another one when I finally decided to get my captain's license, pretty much as soon as I turned 18. And I've been doing my own show ever since. So 6 years in business on my own, running my boat, 2.5 years of mating experience, and then 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 more years of water and fishing experience before that.
Yeah, and it's hard for people to kind of think about what does that actually mean. But I know as a recreational fisherman who got really geeked out on cobia fishing for a while, it was nothing for me to put 350, 400 hours a season recreationally. So what that translates to 8+ years. That's uh, probably close to 10,000 hours or more on the water of experience, which you'll learn a lot when you spend that much time out there. That's for sure. Um, Man, anything that we haven't covered with kids camps that would be important for parents to know if they're looking at summer opportunities?
I mean, I lay it out pretty simple, Luke. I got everything they'd need. I've got the most massive, colorful selection of life jackets you've ever seen. I've got all the safety gear provided. You know, I keep a cooler with over 40 waters on ice all day. As far as safety goes, it's top notch. As
Yep.
far as dates and availability go, I've got plenty of dates and kids camps open. My biggest fear happened to me actually with kids camp, and that is I had groups of boys coming with me for the past 3-4 years of running camps. And those boys are starting to not age out, but, you know, they're getting a little older in high school. They're playing sports in the summer. Their families are traveling more. And I'm losing a couple of my best kids campers just due to life and growing up. And
Oh yeah.
the coolest part is I'm actually still friends with a lot of them. They stay in touch with me. They've made best friends on the camp. So my biggest thing I'd say about kids camp is I have availability, and it's for the right reason. It's not because I haven't had the interest. It's just because my
grow up.
usuals that are normally booked by now are all growing up on me. It's actually really hard, but
Yeah.
they'll be bringing their parents, and they do family trips and stuff like that. A lot of the parents who have done kids camp either come on a half-day charter or have experienced me before or heard about me, and or they do it after kids camp because the boys have so much fun. So I'm
Yes.
super stoked to get some new faces around. I do have some regular ones coming back, and, you know, the more time I get to spend with them, the better, just because it is cool seeing them every year and watching them change and grow and haircuts and funny stuff like that. But I got plenty of availability. I'd love to get some more guys out, and hopefully for years to come. You know, it's really cool being able to see them every year.
Absolutely. And if folks want to go ahead and get that booked, what's the best number that they can call? And then what's the ballpark, if you can share the price range per kid for a
Yeah.
summer camp?
Yeah, so my camps are $250 a day. I actually haven't changed the price on them since I started doing them.
Nice.
I find that it's a very fair, affordable camp, and it works out it works out on my end, and it's continued to for the past few years. And I've always made it a goal to try and keep that kind of stuff, whether it be donated trips and all that I've done in the past. And with kids camp as an example, just keeping it really fairly priced. So $250 a day, $750 for all 3 days. Everything's included: safety gear, life jackets, fish cleaning. And I'm easiest reached at my cell number, 757-345-9698. But you can also reach out to me over email or on Instagram or Facebook or TikTok, or check out my website at litigatorsportfishingva.com.
Beautiful. You got all the socials. And man, hopefully, always love running into you at the Cobia tournaments. Hopefully we'll see you on top of a leaderboard this summer at some point too.
Yeah, I'm waiting to finalize who I got fishing with me for a lot of tournaments, but that's another possibility. I might be switching over and taking some chartered crews out to do some tournaments this year. I am planning on fishing all of them per usual, and I can't wait to see you, and I can't wait to get back to cobia fishing and really tournament fishing. We all love doing that.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Well, man, it was awesome to catch up. Sorry that the winter allowed so much time to pass, but look forward to hearing from you here in the next week or two once you get out there, and hopefully see something with a tail swimming around and have a fishing report for us.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to getting back after it, Luke, and looking forward to hopping back on the show a few times with you as it gets warmer out.
Absolutely, man. Well, it was a pleasure. Thank you for the report and updates and all that detail about kids camp. Folks, definitely give Captain Colt a shout. Those dates will book up fast. They always do. Stick around for a quick word from our sponsors that are going to continue to make this great content free for you each and every week. And we'll look forward to catching up with you guys real soon.
The days of heading out and blindly looking for good fishing areas are pretty much over. Don't waste time and money on fuel searching for fish. What you need are the most recent, highest resolution images to not only know where to go, but where not to go. The knowledge provided by today's technology is critical when planning an offshore fishing trip. So make the choice that captains all up and down the East Coast make and choose Hilton's Real-Time Navigator. The easy-to-use interface and excellent customer service will have you on the fish every time you go. Check them out at hiltonsoffshore.com. All right, y'all, that's going to wrap it up this week. Please subscribe, rate, and review wherever you listen to podcasts. And remember, to get your free APCO Camo Sunglasses Cleaner Cloth, text the acronym LCBFR to 779-345-2918 to get your promo code and be added to our email list so we can send you the new show each week. You guys keep on whacking them and be safe out there.